Well, Kenya is one of the very few African countries that have ever developed and successfully implemented a long-term national economic blueprint, the Vision 2030. Where are we in terms of implementation and 4 years to the retirement of this economic blueprint? What's next? Joining us on Inside Government is Kenneth Mwige. He's the Director General of the Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat. He's joining us here. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Thank you very much indeed, Bwana DG, for joining us here.
Thank you, O'Brien.
So since 2008, when the dream and the vision was finally formulated, what would you say has been the biggest impact of Vision 2030 4 years to the year 2030?
Robin, I think the most important thing Kenya did was to develop a long-term development plan. This is important because it guides all ministries, and now with the devolution it guides the counties as well, to make sure that everyone is moving in the same direction, same general direction, because of course we don't micromanage. So one of the biggest things we did as a country was to decide not to have haphazard development. Yeah. Where you have administrations. Remember, we have one government of Kenya from 1963. Yeah. What changes are administrations? You had a Jomo Kenyatta administration, you had a Daniel Moi administration, you had a Moi Kibaki administration, you had a Uhuru Kenyatta administration, and now you have a William Ruto administration. So,
but the government still remains
government
the same.
Is one. Yep. Government is eternal.
It doesn't change.
It doesn't change. And what's important is that administrations build on what the previous administration has done. Yeah. No administration comes and starts from scratch. You come and find roads, buildings, KBC is there, everything is there. So the task is always to build. Jenga, ongeza kosi yako, moja ama mbili ama tatu. Uondokee mwingine akuja nini, endelee. Yeah. So that's what the vision has done for this country. From 2008, before 2008, you'd be appointed a minister, O'Brien, Minister for Water. You go to the ministry and you do what you think. I'm appointed Minister for Energy, I go and I do what I think. I'm appointed Minister for Local Government, you go and you do what you think. But now there
was no coordinated development.
Precisely. With the national vision, it's coordinated. We agree as a country, we are going in this general direction. Yeah. So if you're shooting off this way or shooting off that way, you say, come back. Tunaenda hivi. So that's one big thing which has happened in this country, which other countries have not been able to do. And the biggest achievement for Vision 2030, I would say, without any hesitation, was the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Because it
was a byproduct of
it was a first
Vision
deliverable under the political pillar of Vision 2030. It's a first big thing that we did. And from 2010, I'm sure all Kenyans can feel the difference under the new constitution. It has expanded space. It has given us rights and has given us responsibilities as well. And it is one of the biggest things we did. So apart from the constitution, which set the groundwork, the framework for how we govern this country, we also had devolution coming in 2013. 48 governments we have now, 47 county governments and one national government. So Kenya is very highly administered in that way. In that sense.
Is it over-administered?
It is probably over-administered. There's a strong argument to say that maybe we don't need 47 counties with 47 governors, deputy governors, with 47 different sets of MCAs everywhere. I think we are over-leaded right now in Kenya.
We are overled.
We are overled. We are overled, and there's a serious argument to say that we need to rationalize even the counties.
Is that a point of view from the Secretariat position? Is that something that the Secretariat is trying to drive? That we review, the number of county governments that we have?
At the Secretariat, we make recommendations. We look at what is happening on the implementation of the vision. One of the recommendations we are going to make is, we're going to introduce is Kenyans need to have a discussion about the number of counties we have. And we need to review the devolution itself. When you look at what is happening, and you look at the Controller Auditor General reports, when you look at the way the counties are being run, there's a very strong argument that is saying that we have devolved a middle class, maybe not development. Because if you look at what counties are spending on salaries and recurrent expenditure, that's money which should be going to development. That's money which would have been going to development.
Actually, I saw the Auditor General's report that was saying that over 70% of the counties that we have did not spend anything on development.
Precisely. Or you find you're spending 10% or 12% on development, and the rest is the current expenditure.
Precisely.
So we need to look at devolution and ask ourselves, what did we devolve? Did we devolve salaries to the counties? Did we devolve a middle class, a new middle class to the counties?
What was the original idea of creating devolved governments from the Vision 2030 point of view?
Devolved governments are good. The question is, how many are they? And do we need 47? That's a real question. Devolution is good because it brings development closer to the people.
Yeah.
People prioritize their needs better than central government. Someone sitting in Upper Hill or in a government office here in Nairobi may not understand the needs of somebody in Gashoriri village. The people in Gashoriri village are the ones who know what they need, and in that area. So devolution is good because it's bottom up. It's really bottom up because devolution allows people at the grassroots to say what their needs are in this financial year and in the next financial year or in the next 5 years. It may be that in a certain constituency, the most important thing to the people there is a bridge or a road. Most important thing. But when you're sitting in Nairobi doing policy, you don't understand that. So devolution is good for that reason. The question is, what is a adequate, or what is the optimum number of devolved units? Because in my opinion, 47 governments are way too many. And the data now, because we have data for 10 years, from 2013, we have data for more than 10 years. When you look at what devolution has actually achieved in the counties, some counties are doing very well, others are doing absolutely nothing, apart from just consuming money. So we need to have a serious look at the number of devolved units we have. We need to review the devolved units themselves, see whether they're delivering, see whether the initial promise is being kept or it's not. And these are hard conversations we need to have.
That we are going to have.
And we must have them.
And you're saying that as a secretariat, this is one of the recommendations that you're going to make.
Yes.
You're going to make this recommendation to who and when?
We, at the Secretariat, the Vision Delivery Secretariat reports to the Vision Delivery Board. I'm the secretary of the board. The Vision Delivery Board is a unique board in this country. It comprises all principal secretaries, 58 of them, Governor of the Central Bank, Capital Markets Authority, Kenya Investment Authority, and Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Kenya Private Sector Association, KEPSA, and about seven business leaders. So it's a board of over 70. And it is a unique board because this board was created in 2008 by President Kibaki to unlock problems, to resolve problems. Because when the board meets, all the CEOs in government are there, all of them, because a PS is a CEO, a principal secretary is a CEO of a ministry. So the idea was that when you have a board meeting, any issue which is blocking a flagship project from proceeding will be resolved at that meeting. Because all the decision makers are there.
So the solutions are there.
The solutions are there. So all the people who can provide the solutions are in the board meeting. So if we want to, for example, do a new road or a new piece of infrastructure, but then you have Kenya Power need to move their poles. The water company needs to move their water pipes. So you have the PS for energy there, you have the PS for water there, you have the PS for transport there. So between them, they resolve all the issues. And the way it's supposed to happen, the board, when it sits, you deal with what are the problems we're having today or this time. Who is responsible for them? We need action from the Ministry of Energy, we need action from the Ministry of Transport, we need action from this ministry or the other. We need the private sector to do this, we need government to do this. So all the decision makers are in the same room and they're able to take action, and you don't have people saying, let me go and consult and come back. That was the idea.
Wow.
So it's a very powerful institution. It should resolve any problem in this country. Because whether it's a governance problem or political problem, economic problem, whatever problem it is, the decision maker is there. The person responsible is in the room. So the Vision Delivery Board was supposed to make sure that all the identified flagship projects are implemented seamlessly. And if there's any problem, it is resolved quickly so the flagship project can do what it's supposed to do.
I mean, if I'm sure you're in touch with the grounds, and when you listen to a lot of sentiments, there's a feeling that, yes, 47 county governments are way too many for a country the size of Kenya, and the size of our GDP, and the size of our population. And so the question has always been, who is going to drive the agenda to review how we are administered and how we are led, are we likely to see the Secretariat coming out strongly to drive that conversation?
The work of the Secretariat is to inform policy. So we look at what is happening, we look at the data, we look at what is happening in the country, because we get reports from everywhere. And then we are able to make recommendations and say this needs to be looked at for the following reasons, 1, 2, 3. For example, when it comes to devolution, it's a completely political question, that one.
Yeah.
And there are, of course, very strong stakeholders who want
in the name of politicians.
Precisely, who need the status quo to remain. But as a country, we have to ask ourselves, is this the best way to spend the little money we have? We had 8 provinces before.
Yeah.
We multiplied that by, what's 48? By 6. We multiplied that by 6. Have we got 6 times the development we had before? Have we got 6 times the efficiency which was there before? Have we got 6 times, are we 6 times better off for having 48 governments? So it's a question which we have. What is the cost of running these governments? What's the cost of having a governor, deputy governor, MCs? It's a government, by the way. It's a government with ministries and ministers. So what's the cost of administering development? Okay? That's a question we need to have. That's a question we need to face head on and confront. What's the cost of development? How much should a county spend on recurrent expenditure? And how much should go to development? Because the idea was to devolve development.
And that one is actually defined.
Precisely.
Because they're supposed to spend 30% of their budget on development.
On recurrent expenditure and 70% on development. But that doesn't happen. Why doesn't it happen? So these are the things we need to ask ourselves. And we also need to ask ourselves in terms of, and even in terms of the way the counties were created. They were not created in 2013 with an economic eye, because they are economic blocks. We should do devolution in a way in which you cluster them in terms of what this part of Kenya, what is it good for? What's this part of Kenya good for? What does this part of Kenya produce? What does this part of Kenya do? Then you arrange the counties in terms of economic development, in terms of economic output. I think that's where we need to go. We started politically, which is inevitable. You must start politically. But now, 10, 12 years into devolution, we really need to now take a look at it and say, okay, fine, we've been doing this for 12 years. Is it working? Is it working well? Is it not working? What's not working? What needs to change? Are there too many units? Or is it the way they're organized? Should you have a standard model which applies in all the counties? How many counties do we need to be effective in this country? If you look at countries like India, big countries with huge populations, they don't have as many governments as we have in Kenya. If you look even in around Africa, Kenya is a thought leader in many ways. We experiment, we do things which other countries can't do or are not doing. So we need to look at our own success on devolution and rationalize it and see whether it is working properly. Ni lazima tuangalie kitu nito devolution. Tabidi.
Lazima tuketi chini,
lazima tuangalie. Yes, tuangalie, tuone tumetoka wapi, tumefanya hizi makaunti, tumekuwa na makaunti miaka 12, miaka 13. Tuendelee ama tubadilishe.
Very good. And I'm sure there is going to be a defining moment for Kenya. And I do agree with you that one of the biggest outcome of Vision 2030 was reviewing our constitution in the year 2010, and that was achieved under the political pillar. Let's talk about the economic pillar, because the Vision 2030 is clustered in 3 pillars: the social pillar, economic pillar, as well as political pillar. And of course, they are now the enablers. Let's talk about economic pillars. What would you say has been the biggest achievement and the biggest setback?
On the economic pillar, we set out to, the target is 10% growth per year.
Economic growth,
ambitious, of course. We've never touched 10%. We got to 8 point something at one point. We've gone down to very small numbers as well because of the economic cycle and also external shocks. Kenya does operate in an island. We're not an island. We're part of the global community. Excuse me. We're part of a global community. We're susceptible to international shocks. We're susceptible to things like COVID, which happened and hit the economy really hard. We're also susceptible to our own issues here. We have an electoral cycle every 5 years. And every 5 years, out of every electoral cycle in Kenya, we have, I would say, confidently, we only have about 2, maybe 3 years of useful work in every electoral cycle.
Yeah.
Because the last year is taken up campaigning. Already the campaigns have started.
Yes.
It's a year plus to the elections already. And then after the elections, the first year is settling in. It's government bedding in, settling in, forming government, settling in. The first year generally goes away. The last year generally goes to campaigns. So you really have 3 years in the middle to push your agenda, even as a government, which is a very short time. So under the economic pillar, there's the biggest problem we have in this country, and it's a global problem, is a youth bulge and employment creation. We have to find a way to create employment. We must find a way to create employment. Because the youth bulge is a problem in this country. 70% of Kenya's population by 2030 will be under the age of 35. Okay? That is the economically productive group, because economically productive from about 18 or 20 or 25 when you finish school up to around 50, 60. Okay? So these are the donkey years where you do all the heavy lifting in the life of a human being. Now, when you find the majority of the population is young, then we have a real problem, and we need to address it seriously, because it's a time bomb, and it's expressing itself not just in Kenya, even across Africa and across the world. The youth bulge is a serious issue, and all governments right now are scratching their heads, wondering how to create jobs, how to create employment, because when you have 1 million people entering the job market every year, you have to think what to do about that.
And joining, perhaps, are they 7 million young people who are jobless?
Who are already jobless, yes. And as a country, we have to reimagine the way we do our business and the way we do ourselves, we operate, because we can't all be employed in formal employment. We can't all sit in offices. Yeah. We can't all wear ties and wear suits. Yeah? Nobody wants to do that anyway. So we have to expand the opportunities available.
And why is it that, I mean, and I do agree with you that, you know, the prospect was that, or the plan was that we grow the economy by 10% annually. Up to the year 2030, so that we can assume the position of a middle income, newly industrialized country. Why have we missed these targets? And you have said it very well. It's a combination of factors, exogenous, heterogeneous, political, internal, and so much. But you're talking about the issue of employment. Why isn't our economy growing jobs as it should?
It is not just our economy which is not growing jobs. It's like I said, it's a global problem. Because there's only so many ways in which you can organize a state, or you can organize a country to provide employment. What we have to do, the Vision 2030 set out to industrialize Kenya. We have not industrialized Kenya. We've not been able to industrialize Kenya. What we should be doing is figuring out ways of becoming small manufacturers of something. For example, if let's take the coastal belt, for example. Coastal belt, apart from tourism and little agriculture, which happens there,
and the port of Mombasa,
and the port, of course. If you move away from the port and the main big things, what else could Mombasa do? Have we completely maximized the potential of the coconut tree by itself? Just a coconut tree. Have we completely maximized everything that can come from that tree there? Are there enough small industries, cottage industries, of people doing coconut oil, people doing even construction material? Are we completely, what would I say, maximizing the potential of what is in the coast, for example?
No,
take the coconut tree, the palm tree or the coconut tree.
The cashew nuts.
The cashew nuts. Leave the coast alone. Let's come to where? Let's come to, let me use my own county. Embu County, Mbere. I come from Mbere. Miraa Mogoka is a cash crop now, which has changed the fortunes of people there. When you look at that crop, yes, it is just chewed right now. But is that all you can do with it? Where
it can be baked, I understand.
Precisely. Where are all the other things, the byproducts?
It can be juiced,
it can be baked, it can do many things. So these are the value-adding things which we should be getting into. And the biggest turning point for this country, I believe, will be the TVETs. The TVETs. For many years, we went the way of universities, following the West. We think that if you have many universities, you have many graduates, then somehow the economy will grow. But no, all we're producing are people with papers, academic papers, but who can't do anything.
But they're not critical thinkers.
Yeah, can't do anything.
They're not innovators.
And our education system has been, for many years, for many decades, was memorize and regurgitate education. So the top students are those who memorize best.
Grade-oriented.
Precisely. You grade-oriented, you get your grades, and then you're hoping to get a job, like I have, or you have, where you wear a tie and a jacket, etc. But that is only maybe 5%. And if you look at the number of employed people in Kenya, how many are they? Is it 1 million or less?
About 3 million people employed in Kenya.
In total?
In a population of 55 million.
55 million, yes. And then if you look at the wage bill of the people who are employed, people like us, how much are we consuming? And what services are we giving in return? So that you find that in Kenya now it's becoming, the best employer has become government. And that shouldn't be the case. Yeah. Government should not be the best employer.
You have a situation whereby people are resigning from the private sector.
Private sector to go to government.
To work for the government.
Yes.
And but it's not a bad thing because, look, for example, a country like, let me take Switzerland, for example. You know, the best brains in Switzerland, they work in government. They are civil servants, you know. So it's not a bad...
Let's talk about Singapore.
Oh, Singapore.
For a start. Singapore, the government officials are the highest paid people in that country.
Government bureaucrats and technocrats.
Yes, the top brains work for government. The top work for government, and they're paid commensurately. And that's why you have the results Singapore has. Okay, it's a small city-state, of course, and you're not going to now say that. We can ape Singapore, because Singapore is a very small island. Yeah, it is.
The population is about 3 million people.
It's not very many million people, and it's very small. It's is it the size of Nairobi?
Yeah, it's a city-state anyway.
It's a city-state.
Yeah.
So we can't really copy Singapore, but
we
can learn lessons.
We can't be Singapore, but we can look like Singapore.
We can learn from them. The one thing which Kenya has to seriously deal with is a question of discipline. Singapore is the way Singapore is because of discipline. You cannot throw a piece of trash in Singapore. You cannot walk and do this in Singapore. You cannot even chew gum in Singapore and throw it. That culture translates to delivery and efficiency. If you look at ourselves, we are not able, even in where we live ourselves as Kenyans, we're not able to collect our own rubbish. We throw rubbish everywhere. On the roads, people are driving cars, educated people with degrees, and they throw trash outside the car. If you on the highway, any bus, if you follow any bus, you will see wrappers being thrown out of the bus. So that's our national culture, and you have to deal with our national culture, because you cannot have excellence when your national culture is mediocrity. Those two don't work together. They don't go together, and we're going to have a very serious look at ourselves in the mirror as Kenyans, and say, yes, we are Kenyans, yes, we are special, yes, we are all these big things, but we have some weaknesses which we need to deal with. And the biggest one is discipline, and order, and law and order, and the governance, because you can't have development divorced from some of these things, unless you have a complete dictatorship, which is another way of doing things.
I'm sure Kenyans will look at you and say, wait a minute.
Precisely.
Did you throw the D word in that statement?
Let's talk about these things, all of them. Let's talk about the governance model we have. Let's talk about how things work or how they don't work. Let's talk about democratic space and its limits. Let's talk about what is able to be done and what is not able to be done. Let us talk about even His Excellency the President this only last week was voicing the what do you call it, frustrations in government. I'll tell you from government point of view, by the time you see a project being implemented, it is a long road to get there. First of all, you budgeted for it 3 or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, and then the funds are not available in that year. They were not available the next year. Then the project, then you start the procurement process. which is very long.
Public participation.
Public participation, procurement, appeals, what? Back and forth, injunctions, etc., because of all the democratic space we have. So by the time the project is actually taking off, it will not even get complete in one financial year, which means that somebody has to make sure that its funds are provided in the next financial year and the next financial year. So it's not easy governing. It's not easy. To get a project started and going and completed is not easy.
Look at JKIA, for example, you know, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Yeah. Do you remember the old one or the new one? Are we talking about the current one now?
I'm talking about the
Can you remember the old airport we had? before these changes.
Before the reconfiguration.
Precisely. I mean, you'd land in JKIA and you ask yourself, what is wrong with us? Because all our ministers, the president, everyone flies abroad.
Yeah.
You see what there is. And then why can't we do these things here? And the biggest problem we have as Africans, let me just talk about, I'm not talking about Kenya, let me talk about Africa. Africa is in the unique position of needing to do only three things: copy, edit, and paste. Okay? Copy because there's nothing new under the sun. It's all been done somewhere. All right? So find what works. The biggest problem we have is editing. Mm-hmm. We copy and paste without doing what?
Without editing.
Without editing. You must edit to suit your local circumstances. You must edit for Kenya. Mm-hmm. You must edit for your country. You must edit for Africa. Mm-hmm. You must edit whatever it is to fit your local circumstances. And even when you come down to the smaller units, you must edit to suit your particular circumstances. Mm-hmm. You have a particular population, you have a particular land mass. You could be landlocked, you could be coastal, you could be mountainous, you could be desert. All these things require editing. So you customize global experiences to your local situation. Another way of putting it is think global, act local. So our biggest challenge is that we don't edit enough. We don't spend enough time thinking about what we're doing and how we're implementing it.
I do somehow agree with you that if there is one thing that we need to review, you know, as a country, if we are going to develop, is our bureaucratic system. Because sometimes it is unnecessary, it is too long. From project conceptualization to project implementation to commissioning, it takes a lot of time. And I was giving an example of JKIA. We all agree that JKIA should not be the way it looks today. Yeah. We need a modern aviation hub that can compete with the best in Africa. You know, the Cairo International Airport, the Joburgs of this world, the Marrakesh. But getting a contractor to do that job is very hard. It is very highly political. It is highly charged. A critical infrastructure like JKIA.
JKIA is not just a critical infrastructure, O'Brien. It is Ethiopia right now is building a massive airport.
100 million.
Massive airport.
Bishoftu.
Yes, Bishoftu. A massive airport. And the issue here is not just to modernize JKIA. It is who is going to be the hub, the aviation hub in Africa, in this part of Africa.
So far, it's Addis.
So JKIA is not just, we don't just want a new shiny building or a new bigger building. The bigger play here is who is going to be Africa's aviation hub.
Strategic, yeah.
It's a long-term strategic move, which is what Ethiopia has done. Ethiopia has a big...
A long time ago, JKIA used to be the aviation hub.
We were the aviation
in East and Central Africa.
Precisely.
Today we can't say the same.
We can't say the same.
Addis Ababa has taken it up.
May not have taken it up, but you can see what they're doing.
Look at the numbers.
You can see where they're going. You can see where they're going. So for Kenya, with all its advantages, we have to keep up. And we have to be ahead of the game. So I agree with you, JKIA needs to be modernized, but not just for the purpose of having a new building. It's for the purpose of making sure that Kenya remains an aviation hub.
We need to strategically develop JKIA to reclaim its position as the aviation hub in East and Central Africa. Because, as we are saying, look at, for example, Bola International Airport in Addis Ababa. Yeah. It is doing almost twice the number of passengers that JKIA is doing. Addis Ababa has almost grabbed the diplomatic hub title from Nairobi.
From Nairobi.
And it used to be. And the reason why is because we are not expanding and developing as fast as we should. Look, for example, you landed JKIA.
Yeah.
Thank God now for the expressway. But before the expressway, it would take you about 3 to 4 hours. Once upon a time, we had somebody coming from Joburg, which is about 5 hours, Joburg to Nairobi.
It's actually 4 hours.
It's about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. But from JKIA to CBD,
your hotel somewhere, will take
in CBD,
will take 4 hours as well.
They took 4 hours. They could not believe it.
Yeah.
And so, from a Vision 2030 Secretariat point of view, then how do we unlock fast and strategic development?
Okay. One important thing to mention here is the importance of rapid, what do you call, mass transit, mass transport. It is not it's not a sign of development that everyone owns a car and drives a car.
No, it is not.
It is not. It's quite the opposite. When everyone needs a car to move around, then that's a problem. What you should have is reliable mass transport, and that's in the works.
It's been in the works for many years.
It's in the works, but like we said, remember the project?
Yeah.
Starting the project, conceptualizing it, getting there, public participation, doing all the things, jumping all the hoops, securing the funding, and then doing it. And then, of course, we have another problem called governance, pork barrel politics, yes. A lot of projects may not be moving because watu hawajakubaliana vile watakula. Things like those. So
Addis Ababa Metro Rail system.
Even Dar es Salaam has a bus rapid transport
But the rail system in Addis Ababa was conceived way before, way after Kenya thought about putting up BRT systems in place. Today, it is transporting almost 1 million people every day.
Every day.
Kenya, we're still talking about Dovu Line, the other man.
Our plans, Kenya has beautiful plans.
On paper.
Kenya has beautiful plans. We know exactly what we need to do. But we are resource constrained, and sometimes we remove our eyes from the ball. And like, remember what I said. Are
we resource constrained or resource misdirected?
Resource constrained is a result. Resource misdirection is a process. The process is that we are spending a lot of money. We are misspending a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the truth. There's a lot of waste and misapplication of funds. Things could be done better and more efficiently. We need to rely more on IT because, and we need to reduce the size of government. We need to reduce the size of government.
And we all talk about this, but nobody
wants to lose their job, for example. Okay.
Do we have an idea on how we can, for example, reduce the size of our government?
We're already halfway there because if you look at the automation in this country in the last 10 years, automation. Look at Huduma Center. All right. A few years ago, before Huduma Centers came up, to do the sort of things you can do in a Huduma Center in one building today, it used to take you a week. You take a trip, you go to this ministry, you spend the whole day there, you maybe get what you want or you don't. The next day you wake up, you go to the next one. Now with Huduma Centers, you go to a one-stop shop and you find all the government services you need there.
Huduma Centers are how many years now? 7?
About less than 10. About less than 10.
Less than 10.
Yeah.
But before Huduma Centers, we were still talking about a bloated government workforce.
Yes.
Even with Huduma, we are still talking about a bloated workforce in government.
Remember, you have permanent and pensionable public servants who are going to be sitting in their jobs until they reach 60. Okay? So what you need to do now is to say, as natural attrition happens, should we be replacing everyone? Or should automation be reducing the size of the government? Do we need so many people? Look at Nairobi County government. How many years have we had about ghost workers on the payroll? Even this week, we're talking about ghost workers in Nairobi payroll, in Nairobi. How does this happen? And why is it still happening? Do we need 13,000 employees to run this Nairobi County?
Nairobi County.
Do you really need 13,000 employees, or however many thousand there, whether ghost or real? Do you really need all those people? What services can be put online so that people don't need to interface with a human being? Okay? And if you look at all most developed countries like Singapore, think about South Korea, for example. Think about Vietnam. Think about the Asian tigers. you find that there's a high level of automation. You get all your services on your laptop, on your phone, in your office, government offices. You rarely need to go to a government office, which means the size of government can reduce. Because
and it can be done so through technology and innovation.
Technology and innovation.
Let's talk about the social pillar here, which focused on improving the social
quality of life. The quality of life. How do we live?
When you look before the Vision 2030 was crafted and now, has the quality of life for Kenyans improved?
Someone would say that the quality of life has not improved. You can say that, but then you have to look at which metrics are you measuring with? In the last 10 years, the population of Kenya has increased by how many million? Okay? By how many million in the last 10 years?
Every year we increase by 1 million people?
Yeah, something like that. Okay? So, and these 1 million people come into the same place, the same resources, if the national cake has not increased, the same roads, the same hospitals, the same schools, the same everything. Okay? So, when you say the quality of life has not changed, you have to be a bit qualitative about it. And you have to decide whether you have to agree, what are we measuring here? Are we measuring how people feel? Are we measuring how people live? Is it are people safer?
Do we have a matrix of gauging that, or everybody talks about the American dream: owning a house, owning a car, a good job, a good income. What would qualify as a Kenyan dream?
What do Kenyans want? A Kenyan wants to be safe. A Kenyan wants to know what he will eat. A Kenyan wants to know where he will sleep. And a Kenyan wants to know what he will do tomorrow. That's all. And that's not a Kenyan. Any human being wants that. We all just want to eat, sleep, be safe, and raise our families. That's all we want. So, and the work of government is to make sure that we can do that. So we have a police, we have law enforcement to make sure that you're generally safe as you go around your business. Safety has increased in Kenya, I think we would say. Today, you could not walk in Kenya, in Nairobi, holding a phone a few years ago.
So has the security situation improved in Nairobi or in Kenya?
I would say generally, security has improved in Kenya, generally. Let's not be very negative. Kenya haijaharibika kabisa. Kenya haijaharibika kabisa. No. Kenya is doing well. Kenya is doing well. We can do better. We're doing well, but we can do better. We can do better. There's room for improvement. It's like that report form we all used to get. O'Brien is a bright boy, but there's room for improvement. So Kenya is a bright child, but there's room for improvement.
There are more hospitals today than there were 10 years ago.
Everything has improved. Schools, hospitals, roads, the road network.
The challenge has always been, when you look at, the demographics, the population growth in Kenya is outpacing economic growth.
Yes. And that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
And so you're ending up in a situation whereby, yes, you're growing, but the population
is outstripping.
It's outstripping that growth.
The growth.
And so how do you deal with that so that you ensure that you're growing more?
We have to be a lot more creative. In fact, what needs to happen in this country is we need to not think outside the box. We need to completely throw the box out and reimagine this country. And we have to do that. We have to reimagine this country. Because
which generation would do that?
Not our generation.
The Gen Zs?
The ones behind us are going to change things. And they will change things. Yes, and they will change things.
They're going to reimagine their Kenya.
Yes, because the Kenya which our parents lived in is different from the Kenya we are living in, and is different from the Kenya our children will live in.
We're going to live in.
Completely. Yeah. And for anybody who's about 60, 70 years now, you've lived in Kenya for 70 years, you've seen the changes. You've seen the changes. All of us have seen the changes.
Very well.
I don't think there's anybody in Kenya who can say that Kenya haijabadilika, hakuna maendeleo.
There is marked change. I mean, and it's everywhere. The question is, are we changing fast as we should? Yes.
Is the growth enough for all of us? Is the growth satisfying everyone? And is everybody happy? The answer is no. Because right now you can't satisfy everyone. We don't have enough to go around for everybody. And we still have not reconstructed this country. We need to reconstruct this country. We need to reconstruct the way employment is done, the way jobs are created, even the education system. We need to, it's changing now to CBC.
It's changing.
To move away from memorization and rote learning to thinking.
Very good.
And creating.
Moige, in the interest of time, because we have to come to the end of this conversation, help us understand what is the nexus between the Singapore conversation that we are having and what happens after Vision 2030.
Okay.
Where are we going?
Let's talk about Vision 2030 first. Vision 2030 has been running from 2008 to 2030. That's about 22 years? 22 years period. We have about 5 years left. Half of this year, the whole of 27, 28, 29, and 30. 4.5 years left, okay, to the end of the plan. What we are doing now, or what should be happening now, is to review what has happened in the past. How has the vision worked? What worked well? What did not work? What needs to change? And we need to also audit the current plan. What are the flagship projects? Where are they in terms of achievement? Are we at 90%? Are we at 95%? Are we at 70%? Are we at 60%? Are we at 50%? Are we at 20% on some? Okay? So we need to do a complete audit. We need to get a full data set of what has happened in the current plan and how it has worked, so that on the basis of that, we're able to develop a new plan.
Yeah.
All right? The new long-term plan, which is either going to be Vision 2050 or 2063 to align with Africa.
Africa Union Agenda.
Africa Union Agenda 63, and also Kenya at 100.
Very well.
In 2063, Kenya will be 100 years. So that's what we're doing right now. The importance of a long-term plan cannot be gainsaid. You must have a plan, especially when you have a devolved system of government. And you have, right now we work with medium-term plans for the national government and the county integrated development plans, CIDPs, for the counties. So there are 47 CIDPs and the national plan. All these have to be coordinated, and everyone has to be singing from the same hymn book.
Very good.
Yeah. Now, in terms of where this country is going, Kenya is doing well. I would not say that, I would not say as the head of Vision 2030 or running it, or as just a typical citizen, that Kenya is doing badly. Kenya is doing well. We have done well. There's room for improvement.
We can do better.
And we can do better. And Kenya is actually one of those countries, it's something in the air or water, which is different. Kenya is different. Even in Africa, Kenya is different.
You feel it actually.
Kenya
the moment you land here,
so
in a different environment.
The potential in this country, the potential of our youth, the potential of these young people should be harnessed, because the Kenyan youth is more awake than many other youths everywhere. And if you look at Kenya generally also, we are very heavy IT users. We're very heavy IT users. In fact, in Africa, and we are globally ranked as as heavy IT users. So we need to leverage on our strengths, our peculiar Kenyan strengths, and parlay them into a national conversation.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mwege, always a pleasure, talking to you and talking
Asante.
about this stuff around Vision 2030. Very exciting. And of course, getting to know where we are and where we are going as a nation. Our desire is to live in a highly industrialized, prosperous Kenya.
Yep.
That's the desire, because we love this country.
What we must do, O'Brien, is find a way to industrialize this country. Small cottage industries. We must get there.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. We've been talking to Ken Mwige, the Director General of Vision 2030 Delivery Secretariat, joining us on this week's episode of Inside Government to help us understand where are we in the implementation of the vision and what happens after the vision, after the year 2030. My name is O'Brien Kimani. You have been watching Inside Government. Thank you very much indeed for your time. We'll see you next week. Bye. Thank you.